Hello everyone, this is Madhuri Baloch and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Itihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. So I was actually thinking a lot and watching what's happening in Eastern Europe between Ukraine and Russia. And to be honest, it was very sad to see, especially when Kiev and Ukraine was the first country that I ever visited outside Pakistan. And of course, Ukraine holds a very, 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 very special place in my heart. I lit my first Shabbat candles there, and I attended the second annual Muslim Jewish conference there. I went to the Maidan Square in Kiev, and it was just so wonderful. But whatever is happening right now between the conflict, I sensed and I saw when I was looking at the footage, the reporting, especially from BBC, CNN, Fox News, CNBC, the Pakistani, Indian media. Oh my God, Indian and Pakistani media were so excited and jubilant. Oh, there is new war coming in Europe, and as if, I mean, what really made me sad was that there is so much of excitement in Asia, especially in Pakistani circles and Indian circle. Oh my God, if you want to sensationalize something, give it to the Indians. Oh my God, they would sensationalize nothing and everything there is to be there. So it's just it's actually very sad, and it's also very, very stupid. Okay, there are separatists and there are people who want, because the Ukrainian economy is down and they're having issues, in regards to their, their economy, and they need it, and that's the reason they want to be part of the EU, because they want the bailout packages, they want free trade, they want preferential trade agreements with the European countries, and that was their intention. And the other group says that no, if we align with the Russians, we would have a much more financial and economic prospect on that side. Nevertheless, whatever the issue is, there are two parties who are conflicting with each other. One is saying one thing and the other is saying the other thing. Putin himself and Russia itself has strategic interest as well as economic interest associated with Ukraine. And of course, there is an amount of insecurity that Putin and Russians must be feeling, knowing the fact that Ukraine is getting closer to EU, and then EU has a certain perspective regarding Putin and the Russians. So I strongly feel that this issue, this conflict, could have been resolved with much more maturity and sensibility had the nations of NATO and the US acted, and of course Ukraine and Russia acted much more maturely. You discuss things, you discuss prospects. If Russia does feel very, very insecure, why not include Russia also in NATO, and why not add Russia into that the whole thing, the whole collaboration of NATO? So I mean, just imagine Russia, Ukraine, everyone is in NATO. Nobody's fighting each other. Such a nice thing. But then again, on a practical level, everything needs to be dealt with maturity and talk it out. Sit down. Putin himself said that he asked his foreign intelligence services head, cheif, that what do you think we should negotiate? He should have had the guts to say, yeah, it would be nice to negotiate with Ukraine one-on-one, or Ukraine, NATO, and three parties would just sit down and discuss stuff and see how both parties can benefit out of an arrangement which is beneficial for everyone. So it's such a sad scenes that I see, and it's such a sad scene, especially because Ukraine personally. I want to visit again, and it is very, very close. Like I said, it's very close to me too, because it was the first country I visited. And I also wanted to share in the description box a video regarding Putin, where the Putin and his cabinet is all over the place. The foreign intelligence, international intelligence chief is saying something else, and Putin wanted to hear something entirely different. So I mean, it's like not even in Russia everyone is on the same page. How would the whole world would be on a single page and communicate with clarity and awareness and sensitivity and maturity? So I would like to share two videos. One is of that Putin's video in the description box, and then another video. It's a 7-year-old video of BBC, where at the Maidan square of Kiev, there is this riots going on, and the security forces are having are carrying out operations to contain them or disarm them. And just to remind you that Ukraine has been in this conflict of internal sort of unclear thing, uncertainty, especially on the economic and political front. So we need to understand, and we need to help Ukraine sort of create a cohesiveness and clarity. And it would be good to include Ukraine in NATO, but at the cost of making other countries insecure would be not very much fertile for Ukraine or for NATO for that matter. So let's be inclusive and harmonious towards everyone, and include each other into a setup or a picture or an alliance. That's the word. Include everyone into an alliance of rebuilding and prosperity and interdependence in terms of economic activity and economic reliance. And to Pakistani and Indians and all this immature media, world media, I would like to say, grow up. Seriously, grow up. Stop taking mileage and footage of other people's misery. War is not it's very ironic that Pakistan and India have so many conflicts with each other. They never choose to fight with each other. They do terrorism. The armies don't fight each other. They kill the civilians. Indians pay off the Taliban to have terrorist attacks in Pakistan, and Pakistan pays off the other terrorist groups to have kill the civilians in India. So stop this mentality. This will ruin the world or make it a better place. So the choice is yours. Make sensible choices, mature choices, sensitive choices. And I wish for peace in Eastern Europe. It's one of my favorite places to be. I wish my prayers go out, my heart go out to Ukraine. May there be security, prosperity, peace for both Ukraine, Russia, NATO, everyone. If there should be a war, there should be a war between Pakistan and India, or Taliban, Pakistan and India. These three countries should be fighting and just killing each other, because they're just simply useless people living there. I'm sorry for saying this, but the kind of reporting that you see, as if they're so excited and they're just so jubilant with joy that Russia is attacking. And then Hanania Naftali, he has a Indian girlfriend. The Indian girlfriend drags him. The Indian origin, probably she's a Israeli, and has parents who originated from India. But whatever the case, the poor guy from Israel is dragged to comment on Ukraine and Russia, and he makes a fool out. I will share that video also in the description. And do watch it. Don't drag Israel or Israelis to every other conflict of the world. Stop doing this. Indians especially, stop doing that. You're not their friends. If you do that, you're not their friends. You're actually their enemies. So watch out. And in Israel, you should learn to see who's your actual friend and who's not. So yeah, peace to the world, sensibility and sensitivity and maturity to the world. And thank you very much. I hope everything is not as we expect and not as we see actually, or hear. I wish all the reports and all the everything turn out to be a complete blatant lie, and in reality there is no war, there is no invasion, and people sit down and talk and resolve their issues. So yeah, thank you very much. Have a peaceful, wonderful, joyous day, everyone who has watched my video. Thank you very much.